A Florida man chases a garbage truck and opens fire. A Florida man threw spaghetti at his mother because he thought she had demons. A Florida man broke into a stranger's property to avoid his angry wife. And a Florida man reports his own attempt to illegally buy a gun. These are the weird stories on Weird AF News, the only daily weird news podcast. And on Friday, we only do weird news from Florida. I say we, I mean I only do weird news from Florida. Here we go. It's Florida Friday on Weird AF News. A Florida man shoots at a garbage truck. This story's out of Zephyr Hills, Florida. Fly away on my Zephyr. An argument that began in the parking lot of a Zephyr Hills Wawa early Friday morning led to a man chasing a garbage truck down the street while firing shots from his pistol. And there was also a collision. 2 men were sent to the hospital, another to jail. It's your typical all-around Florida man story. The officers went to the Advent Health Zephyr Hills because they said a man showed up with a gunshot wound to his right forearm. The victim told the police that he was shot by his acquaintance, Quinshawn Deshawn Crossan, age 46, after the 2 individuals, the Florida men, had a brief verbal exchange inside a Wawa. And in case you're not familiar, Wawa is a gas station chain in the U.S. that has an amazing assortment of coffee inside. That's what makes me smile about the Wawa. What doesn't make me smile about the Wawa is the people that tend to be at a Wawa, the kind of people that'll shoot at a garbage truck. Now, the victim here said that he believed the Florida man Crossan was intoxicated and suggested that, maybe he go home for the afternoon. But the encounter quickly escalated because the Florida man Crossan did not want to be told to go home. He's drunk at a Wawa. I mean, that's a typical Friday night for a Florida man. The police say Crossan, the Florida man, allegedly followed the victim and his coworker in a black Yukon SUV and confronted them while they were seated inside their Waste Connections garbage truck. Okay, so they're on the clock. They're driving the garbage truck. They see a drunk man at a Wawa and, they give him a little life tip. He didn't like that. Witnesses' statements and evidence indicated that Crossan, the Florida man, pulled a handgun from his vehicle and fired it several times at the garbage truck while chasing it throughout the city. Well, let's not judge right away. I mean, maybe Crossan, the Florida man, was so drunk that he thought the garbage truck was a Tesla. Now, according to the police, during the pursuit, they say the SUV that the Florida man Crossan was driving actually crashed into the garbage truck, causing the garbage truck's passenger side door to open and tossing the victim's coworker from the vehicle and onto the ground. Well, that's a far fall from a garbage truck. They're pretty high up. The police say that the Florida man left the scene in his damaged SUV after ramming the garbage truck. They say surveillance footage from nearby businesses, as well as dash cam video provided by an independent witness, confirmed some key elements of this incident, including the SUV's aggressive driving behavior, multiple gunshots fired at the garbage truck, and the final deadly collision between the 2 vehicles. The victim later identified Florida man Crossan as the garbage truck sniper. Investigators also confirmed that Crossan is a convicted felon and is actually prohibited from possessing firearms or ammunition under Florida law. Crossan was located in Hillsborough County later and arrested and charged with 2 counts of attempted homicide and 1 count of possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. In what is one of the most outrageous stories I have ever heard. Only Florida man can turn trash day into an insanely cool action film. I'd imagine he's going to be approached for a Netflix series deal at some point. Call it Florida Man Takes Out the Garbage, the series.
Yes?
A Florida man threw spaghetti at his mother, claiming that she had demons in her head. I mean, in his defense, it's Florida. There's a good chance that mom does have some demons in her head. Let's keep reading and find out what set him off. Was she speaking in tongues? Was she spinning her head around? Did she sprout some wings and fly up and perch on top of an old government building, as demons tend to do? Oh, those are gargoyles, not demons. I'm sorry, my bad. I got to get my evil creatures in order. This story is out of Mount Dora, Florida. A Florida man pushed his mother off a wall. Like Humpty Dumpty? Did she have a great fall? And did all the king's horses and men try to put his mother back together again? He pushed his mother off a wall after he threw spaghetti at her. He was arrested, it says. This was around 3 a.m. on Thursday morning. Mount Dora police answered a 911 call. The victim said she was staying at her son Brandon Ogden's home. According to the arrest report, the 26-year-old Brandon stole $10 from his mother and left the house. How dare you, Brandon, steal money from your poor mother, even if she is possessed by a demon? That's not okay. According to the report, when Brandon later returned home, his mother made him delicious spaghetti. How lovely. How could you say that your mother has a demon in her head when she's making you spaghetti after you stole $10 from her? Come on, a demon wouldn't do that. An angel does such things. This mother is an angel. It says during the spaghetti dinner, the mother mentioned the stolen cash. The Florida man was enraged by this accusation. According to the mother, her son was under the influence of heroin and exhibited abnormal behavior. Brandon threw spaghetti at his mother and pushed her against the wall, injuring her, and then threw spaghetti at her a second time. He just wanted to make sure she got noodled sufficiently. According to the report, Brandon said that the demons in his head told him to attack his mother. Oh, wait a minute. So he had demons in his head? I thought she had demons in her head. Wow. Well, the title is a little bit different than what seems to be going on in this lovely household. There's a good chance both of them have demons inside their head. Maybe he did think she had demons as well. I mean, exorcisms in Italy kind of go like this. You know, they just rigatoni the Diablo, if you know what I'm saying. The power of Chef Boyardee compels you. The power of Chef Boyardee compels you. Out with the demons. Enjoy the spaghetti. Now, there are some more ghastly details about this Florida family soap opera. After the spaghetti incident, he locked his mother in a room, and then he stole some items and left the house. Police officers found the Florida man Brandon sitting in a trailer. Wow, they own a home and a trailer? That's just like some rich Florida people over here. In the trailer, the police discovered a syringe, a silver spoon, a bag, and bottle of pills. I guess you'd call that a drug paraphernalia. Is there drug paraphernalia? Brandon, who said something about the needle, didn't say anything about the drugs. That's weird. He didn't say anything about... I will not speak about the needle, but I will tell you about the drugs and how they work. And they helped me fight a demon today. So, I mean, you should be thanking the drugs. The drugs keep me calm because I was nervous on the surface, but I was calm and ready. There was demons on my mom's sweater already. So, mom spaghetti.
This episode is brought to you by Blink, an Amazon company. Think you're ready for Prime Day? With up to 50% off Blink Smart Security, you will be. With crisp HD video, real-time alerts, and two-way talk, you'll know the moment your packages arrive. Save big on Blink Smart Security, starting at just $19.99 with the Blink Mini 2 plug-in camera. Shop now at amazon.com/blink.
A Florida man breaks into a stranger's property to avoid his angry wife. Well, you know, an angry wife is probably the most frightening person in the culture. And now add angry Florida wife to that. Can you imagine? I mean, that's just a horror movie waiting to happen. Before I judge this man, I just want to say, you know, I understand this kind of behavior. We have the Florida man Charles, age 44. He admitted to breaking in the property. The Polk County deputies responded to a call when a neighbor noticed lights unexpectedly on in a rental property. When the police arrived, they discovered Jocelyn Charles, age 44. This is a Florida man. His first name is Jocelyn. This is the beginning of his problems in life. Now, when the police found the frightened husband in the property, he was cooking and had just drawn a bath. He allegedly told the police that he had been using the home's water and electricity without permission. He reportedly stayed at this residence that he did not live in for 4 days in order to avoid a fight with his wife, according to him. Yeah, I mean, this guy's just trying to keep the peace by completely disappearing. He just, you know, went about it the wrong way. You know, you got to go get yourself a tent or something. You don't just break into other people's property. You can probably sleep on the beach or in your car for several days. You know, maybe all these Florida men living in tents and squatting in people's homes that aren't theirs are just trying to avoid their wives because for whatever reason they're in big trouble. Maybe they didn't take out the drug paraphernalia on drug paraphernalia removal day. Maybe they didn't clean the syringes. I don't know what sort of household chores a Florida man has, but you can imagine they're all nefarious. Honey, did you take out the drug baggies? Did you walk the gator? It says, according to the arrest affidavit, the police said when they entered this residence, the stove was on, the lights were going, and a cell phone was plugged into a wall outlet. Here's a quote from the county sheriff's office. It's just one of those things where you just have to grin and bear it. Bear what? That this man trespassed? Or are you referring to how the man should just grin and bear the wrath of his wife that he's obviously scared to death over? The sheriff's office announced the arrest in a Facebook post filled with references to Goldilocks and the Three Bears. The post featured bear puns, jokes about bath temperature, and a very funny hashtag. I love how the police are just having a lot of laughs on Facebook at the expense of this frightened man, this poor Florida man who's just trying to make it work, trying to do what's best for the relationship, a little misguided in his method, but hey, look, couples therapy is expensive, in case you don't know. It's much, much cheaper just to hop over your neighbor's fence. Or, if you're a Florida man, you can hide in a swamp for several days, I think. Maybe we ought to all consider establishing some shelters for husbands that are scared of their wives. I mean, that's a thing. A Florida man reports his own attempt to purchase a gun and is arrested. We have here John Moore, age 41, of Jacksonville, Florida. He's currently on probation for a DWI crash with injuries. He's serving a suspended execution of a 3-month sentence, yet he called the cops on himself when a gun deal that he arranged went wrong. He called the police on himself. He contacted the sheriff's office claiming he purchased a gun from someone who refused to refund his money after learning that he was a felon. Okay, you're a felon. You're not supposed to be purchasing a gun. So when you go to purchase a gun, which you're not supposed to, then you get angry that the person won't sell you the gun because they learned that you're a felon. Did you tell this person that you were a felon? Hey, felonious underground illegal gun purchases 101. You don't tell the seller that you're a felon. Okay, so this genius calls the police. This guy's not letting me buy a gun. I'm a felon. I'm not allowed to have one, but he should still sell it to me. Can you guys do something about it? Calls the police. While en route to investigate, the deputy observed Moore driving a vehicle with no registration. The deputy stopped the accused, who he knew should not have been driving due to this suspended license. During the traffic stop, the Florida man was discovered to be intoxicated and behaving erratically. He failed field sobriety test and showed a blood alcohol level of 0.309%. He was taken into custody. Meanwhile, the deputy made contact with the other party that was part of this gun transaction. He learned the recent transaction was not, in fact, a sale, but a barter. It was guns for guns. Huh? Wait a minute. He's trading guns that he's not supposed to have because he's a felon for some other guns that he's not supposed to have because he's a felon, and then calls the police to complain about this. Meanwhile, he's also drunk. I mean, this is just fantastic Florida man behavior. This is Florida man at his finest. Now, it turns out the victim has some history with the Florida man. She disclosed that she had a near-fatal encounter with him in April. She was allegedly giving the Florida man a ride when he began acting erratically, pulled out a black powder revolver and placed it against her head. She heard the hammer cocked and succeeded in swiping the muzzle away from her head before Moore fired, blowing out the driver's side window and leaving powder burns on the victim's face. So he tried to blow your head off, and then you agreed to meet him 2 months later in an encounter involving guns, which you've already had a terrible experience with this Florida man and guns previously. Well, I don't feel bad for you. Fool me once. The victim says that she was afraid of the Florida man since that day, but that she had traded guns with him before. Just trading guns. It's a typical day in Florida. The attempted barter disagreement occurred that day because the Florida man returned the traded gun to her, then later demanded it back. When she refused, she called law enforcement. I can't even wrap my head. Are they both called the police on each other? The Florida man was charged with first-degree assault, persistent DWI. Persistent DWI. Hey, this guy's got a lot of DWIs. Well, at least he's persistent. Discharging a firearm at a person is another charge. Unlawful possession of a firearm, an armed criminal action. I mean, it's a laundry list of indiscretions. I mean, it sounds like to me this Florida man just wants to be in prison. And considering how dangerous the outside Florida world is, I mean, I almost don't blame anyone who just wants to be in a Florida prison. Imagine the air conditioning.
4th of July savings are here at the Home Depot, so it's time to get your grilling on. Pick up the Traeger Pro Series 22 pellet grill and smoker, now on special buy for $389, was $549. Smoke a rack of ribs or bake an apple pie, this grill is versatile enough to do it all. This summer, no matter how you like your steaks, your barbecues are guaranteed to be well done. Celebrate 4th of July with fast free delivery on select grills right now at the Home Depot. Subject to availability.
Hello, my friends and loyal listeners of the Weird AF News podcast. Thanks for spending some time with me in this episode of Florida Friday. I appreciate all of the articles that came out of Florida this week that you sent over. You can always email me things to funnyjones@gmail.com, or you can slide them into my Instagram @funnyjones. It is 4th of July today. It's 4th of July weekend. I hope you're having a grand old time with family and friends. If you happen to be in the States and you're celebrating, that is. I'm spending the majority of the afternoon working, as you can see, but I will later get out and see some fireworks and have a cocktail and some leftover barbecue, something like that. That would be a big win, I think. If you would like to support this production here, this one man in a closet, 5-day-a-week news podcast, please go to my website, weirdafnews.com, and buy me a 4th of July beer. Actually, you can buy me a coffee, but I might spend the money on beer. That's what's happening. You can click on the Buy Me a Coffee banner or the Patreon. That's another way you can support the show, by joining the Patreon. It's like buying me a coffee every month. It's very nice, and you get extra bonus weird content. So check that out, weirdafnews.com. Have an amazing weekend, and good luck with your life, man.